We hope that you've enjoyed exploring tessellations with us today. If at the end of the week for your project you'd like to explore tessellations further, here are a few ideas that you might find interesting. You could explore ESCHER-INSPIRING tilings of Alhambra Palace. These tilings could be created using just a compass and straightedge, or circles and lines. You could also create an MC ESCHER-LIKE art piece. You could even consider using more than one shape, as Escher did in some of his tessellations, or experimenting in other ways like changing the size of the shapes. We would call this dilation symmetry mathematically. You could also learn about the Conway criterion. So the Conway criterion is like the translation criterion. It's another set of rules which help to describe an even larger group of tessellating shapes. So you would learn what that criterion says and then use it to create your own tessellating shape, similar to how we did with the translation criterion. You could also learn about something called the 17 wallpaper groups. So remember those 4 kinds of symmetries that we had for tessellations: translation, rotation, reflection, and glide symmetries. These can only be combined with a single shape in 17 ways that will tessellate. So you could understand in more detail what these symmetries are and what these 17 possible combinations are, and then either create or find examples of these 17 types. You could also explore something called HEESCH numbers or HEESCH tiles. So HEESCH tiles are tiles which appear to tessellate but eventually run into a problem. So remember, a tessellation has to be able to continue on forever. So HEESCH tiles are tiles which look like they're about to tessellate, but eventually you get to a point where you can no longer place a tile without having a gap or an overlap. And the HEESCH number for a tile is how many iterations can occur before you actually run into that problem. So perhaps you found one of these topics interesting as a possible project, or if you have another idea that has to do with tessellations, feel free to bring it up to one of the camp leaders and we'd be happy to help you explore it as a possible project topic.